It's The Hash.
The Hash.
The Hash is brought to you by the award-winning Bay Area dispensary, Berkeley Patients Group, and Berkeley's community dispensary, CBCB. Subscribe to The Hash on iTunes. Advertise with The Hash by emailing advertise@thehash.org.
Welcome back to The Hash. I'm Max Savage Levenson. Recently, I paid a visit to San Francisco's New West Summit to get a sense firsthand of how the tech industry is influencing cannabis. What I found caught me off guard. Instead of tie-dye, there were suits. Instead of spaced-out vendors, everyone I met fired off their pitch with a gleam in their eye. Repping everything from cannabis social media to delivery apps, diagnostic tools to weed-sniffing computers, the event seemed just too legit to be true. Yet one man in particular helped me see just how the cannabis industry is preparing for the day that legalization hits. Here's Reggie.
I'm Reggie Gaudino. I'm the Vice President of Scientific Operations at Steep Hill Labs. I'm also the Director of Intellectual Property and the Director of Genetics. We started out as a safety testing lab. It was concerned with potency and pesticides and microbiological contamination. But right now we've expanded into the genetic analysis field as well. We do DNA sequencing, we're building molecular diagnostic tools. So we're trying to really advance the biology in the cannabis industry. Thanks to prohibition, there's been such a lack of information. You can make your mark in the cannabis field because there's nothing known or so little known. We're designing tools to help growers and breeders do their job better. At First True Leaf, we can actually start telling them what they need to know about their strain so they can make intelligent decisions to reduce their resource load, right? That information also helps them breed just the best so that ultimately you end up with a better product on the shelves for the consumer. When we first started introducing our genetic tools, the scuttlebutt out there was that we were doing it so that we could steal everybody's genetics and that we were the man coming in to put down the cannabis industry, right? And that's the furthest thing from the truth, because what we're doing is actually designed to make them better at what they do. A lot of paranoia comes from a lack of understanding, and so the fact that we started talking about patents and about sequencing DNA was unfortunately perceived the wrong way. It was the dark side was what was latched onto. And so there are companies that could do those things. And those companies are going to be the big ag companies like Monsanto and Dow, right? That's not who we are, right? We're trying to bring the tools that these other companies use to the cannabis industry so that the people in the cannabis industry stay relevant. The reality is that if they come into this industry, there's not a lot of things that we can do to stay relevant. So how do we do that? We do that by littering the cannabis industry with brand new strains that have been designed intelligently using tools like ours, right? But also the growers and the breeders kind of mature in their aspect as well, right? So they start playing by the business rules. They start filing patents because that's how they stay relevant. They put new breeds out there because anything on the shelves right now is basically open source, right? Patent law is such that anything that's been on sale for more than a year cannot be patented. And if you're not the original breeder or inventor, you can't patent it either, right? So there's a lot of stuff out there. Nobody knows who was the first breeder or whatever. So everything on the shelves right now is open source. Right?
That's how I feel about my offspring, too.
If you are a breeder who is good at what he does, you should be breeding your ass off right now and not selling. So the one thing that happens is breeders breed and they start releasing, right? So you can't do it that way anymore. You have to start playing intelligently by the rules. You breed, you hold on to it till you've got it stabilized, and then you file a plant patent. And once that's done, then you release it, right? So it takes a little bit longer to do it that way, but at the end of the day, you have something that you can protect. And then when Monsanto and Dow come in and they pull everything off the shelves that's already open source, you have the better thing that they have to come to you for. For me, when I came here, I was completely blown away by the negative reaction. That really disheartened me, and to the point where, no matter what we did, there was somebody out there being a naysayer and saying, "Oh, you guys are bad. You guys are, just out for yourselves." When in fact, all the DNA sequencing that we've done, and we have $1 million sequencer, we haven't charged anybody to sequence their DNA. The data that we're going to develop is actually going to be part of peer-reviewed scientific journals. That means that the sequences we develop will have to be in the public domain. So we're investing all this money, and we're building tools that we charge money for the testing services, right? But the reality is it'll take us a long time to make our money back and to pay for the equipment that we have just based on our testing services, right? So it has to do more with advancing the industry and making cannabis a legitimate medicine than it has to do with us making a quick buck. There you go.
Well, thanks so much. Really appreciate it.
Cool. Thank you very much.
High five.
There you go.
Berkeley Patients Group is California's oldest continuously operating dispensary. BPG is a model for the medical cannabis industry and a leader in the field operating with the highest of standards. Berkeley Patients Group has the widest selection of cannabis, extracts, and edibles in the East Bay. BPG features monthly deals and specials and supports the Helping Hands program, a needs-based care program that offers free medicine to patients who demonstrate medical and/or financial need. We test all of our medicine to ensure quality and safety. Our experienced, knowledgeable staff helps you feel welcome and at home. At BPG, we lead with compassion and keep you, the patient, at the center of all we do. This model has allowed Berkeley Patients Group to continue to serve our Bay Area community for over 15 years. Thank you for listening.